do, 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 do. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? No one's in here yet. I'm just kind of talking to myself, I guess. Hey, Bobby. Hello, Britton. Hey, Tracy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm here. That's about all I can ask for right now.
I understand that. That is my general response as well. I'm here. Hey, Ashley.
There we go. Try to get my life together.
Yep. Yep. It is another Friday. I know everyone is used to seeing Brian's gorgeous face on the screen, and normally we're in Discord. Brian's under the weather, and I don't have the ability to screen record. And so I was like, yeah, dude, I got you. I can do this. And then it won't get uploaded to YouTube. So I said, you know what? Let's move it over to TikTok, and then I will be a adult and get screen recording stuff. So if it happens again, we can, go back to Discord like normal people. So there's no like censorship and stuff. So that's why we're here. Hey, Vanessa. Just so everyone knows what's going on. That's why we're here, and why Brian isn't. Sam's kind of either here or not here. She's going through stuff, so that's what's going on. But yeah, if you're ready to get into it, we can get into it.
Let's go.
All right. So, welcome to Friday Night Writes, everybody. I'm your host tonight, Evie Black. Awkward marketing, awesome books. If Van Helsing and Supernatural had an angsty, slow burn baby, we're talking Forced Proximity, Found Family, Angels, Demons, the works. Leona, she's a badass with thick thighs who ends lives, and Xandros is the simp that calls her abuse foreplay. Bear Shifters, Reverse Bully, and Grumpy Sunshine. Abyssal, Donovan's a dick. It's in the blurb. Shadow Daddy, Witches, abusive relationship, and a student-teacher trope. And our guest this evening is Britton Brinkley. So did you want to tell us about your books?
Sure. My stack's a little bit bigger, but
yeah, no, I know. I went and I did a quick Amazon search, and I went, holy shit. And I was going through your books, and I ended up buying 2. Saw how many books you have coming out this year, and kind of went like, am I even qualified to talk to her? Like, I kind of went like, oh my God, like I checked my resume and said, I don't think I have like the qualifications to be doing this interview.
You do. I have what's called the Delulu, okay?
So, yeah. Like, I feel a little bit like maybe I don't have the qualifications for this.
I just I get really excited about things, and then I tell myself it's going to happen, and then I don't let myself back out of it unless like the day comes and I have to back out of it. So that's what happened. I wasn't supposed to have a publishing schedule this year. I wasn't supposed to have any of that stuff. And as you can see, I've put up everything except for one book that I know is releasing this year, but I haven't picked a date yet. I just put everything up because I got tired of updating stuff too. So it's just like, you know what? The world's gonna see it all. I don't even care.
What I thought, like 8 books are up for publication.
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was like, holy shit! When does she sleep?
Sleep is a questionable word. Like, what are we defining as sleep? Like hours?
Unconsciousness? Like, are you unconscious at all, or do you write in your sleep?
I probably do write in my sleep. I don't know.
Teach me your ways, master.
Have no life. Hang out with Robert's Row. That's my secrets. Okay, well, I can take you through my current stack.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So first up is my Fall of the Phoenix series. This is book 1, Feathers of Truth. Book 2, Feathers of Destruction. She is a homicide detective and a hit woman and thinks she's the last Phoenix in existence, and she's not. Her next target will actually be her mate, and he's going to change everything. And so book 1, there's a lot of shenanigans. Book 2, there's even more shenanigans and some unaliving. We love that. And the third book is the one that I haven't actually posted yet. That's coming out like at the end of the year. I just got to pick a date that's not December 31st. So this one here, this one's my dystopian Why Choose, the tournament. World's gone to hell, and now the company is the ruling body, and they put on this death tournament every year. 100 go in, and only 2 are supposed to come out. Throw in some genetic breeding because science nerds. And this one will be a trilogy when it's done.
Those were not the ones I picked, but now I'm thinking I might, like, you might end up taking all my money tonight, so.
Yay! No, I'm not yay, but like yay.
Like, sorry to everyone in the audience, but my name might be the only one on the wheel tonight. I'm just saying.
So next up is Rise of the Grissom. This one is a dark academia Why Choose fantasy. You've got different types of wielders, light, dark, and Grissoms. Grissoms are supposed to be unalived at birth. And our FMC is a very important one. Artemis, are you on my mouse?
Is Artemis your cat?
Yeah, I think she was touching my mouse because it was just like moving all crazy and wild. Or maybe that's
Is she an all-white cat?
She is not. She is Artemis. You're messing up my spiel. This is Artemis.
I love her.
Artemis Prime, say hello.
Her name's even better. I
Say
love
hello.
her.
No?
Hi,
Okay.
kitty.
Fine, just go over there. Anyway, so FMC is a really important Grissom who is starting her first year at wielding school. They come into their powers at 25, so that's when they go to school. And their school fun times to siphon magic. There's some of that. Book 2 comes
So
out
one
in
of the
July.
ones I got.
That's one. Yeah. So the second book comes out in July. I'm writing that now because we don't do things ahead of time over here either.
Of course not.
Next up, this was actually my most recent release, Scarlet Hearts. This one is Ashley's fault because she asked for me to write a book about Ohio. So this is 2 people that went to Ohio State at the same time. They were oftentimes in the same place, didn't know each other. And 19 years later, they will randomly meet on Valentine's Day, and then they fall in love and happily ever after. So, okay.
Ashley seems a bit offended down in the...
100% your fault. Lock up those caps. Next up is my Nightlife duology. This is a completed duology. He is a billionaire and a cage fighter. She works for him, and he doesn't know it, and the first time they meet will be in the cage. And then book 2, I just put them through hell and back. But you get a HEA, so stop yelling at me. And that one actually has 2 different sets of covers. This was the original cover, and then Isabel messed around and made me another one that I loved. So you got choices. Okay. Last up, my Misfits trilogy. So this one is a new adult, Why Choose dark romance. The FMC was Mrs. Popular, had a fall from grace, and she befriends the 3 nerds in school, and they get the girl at the end of the day. So that's these. These are really thick. They can be used as protection if you are in a dark alley. And then last up, because Ashley's here too, this is my next release. This is Ride Me. I actually just got this today. So Ashley, Willow, and I are actually putting out a series called Boulder Ranch together. We each have 3 books in the series, and we have our arcs open. So if you like cowboys and small town, this is read it. Sign up. That's it.
Is the Schmink and the Schmayo?
It is.
Nice.
Everything you ever need to get to me or Roberts Row is all where the trees live. Yeah, the chain trees.
And so Nightlife is actually our schmiv for this evening.
Yes.
Yes. So if anyone would like a physical, US only, if you would like a physical copy, we are rehoming, adopting, whatever. It's our schmiv for the evening. And the emoji is going to be boxing gloves. So just drop them in the comments. I will remind everyone through the evening. You will have multiple chances to win. It's our little incentive for y'all to stick around so you can hear what Britton has to say. So just drop them down in the comments, some boxing gloves. Because he's a cage fighter. That's just so cool. I got that as well this evening.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm about to be broke.
I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, but I'm also about to be broke because I haven't bought your books yet, so I need to.
Well, if you have KU, they're actually about to come out. Abyssal only has a week left, and Unbalanced has like 10 days left. But they're on KU still. If you have it, if you subscribe, I don't know.
I do, but I'm a physical book girly. I need the book in my hands.
That's fair. I am as well. I got the Kindle versions because I do have a Kindle, and I will read my Kindle, but I really prefer getting physical copies.
Well, next time I see you, we're gonna sneak a physical copy your way.
Well, we can swap. Are you gonna what events are you going to?
What events am I not going to?
Okay, well I'm going to Lucky and Lombard. I'm going to Sinful Signings.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Okay, we'll swap some books.
Let's do it. Game.
All right.
Pumped.
All right. So let's get into these questions. Tell me, or us, the audience, tell us about, like, who are you? Not just the author you. Who are you? Like, you don't have to, like, tell me, like, from your childhood, but what else besides an author? Who's Britton?
On April 20th, 1987, I came into this world. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Sorry, that is true, but I'm not gonna do that. I mean, so the big overarching thing is I've always been a book lover. So like I've always been a reader ever since I was a kid, like all the way up through adulthood. I have a huge book collection. You can see the ones that are up here behind me. And honestly, most of my time these days really is just reading or authoring. But I used to do Muay Thai and I used to be a dancer. I have 2 crazy cats. You already met Artemis. Gatsby may jump up on the desk at some point and just kind of walk around. But other than that, I like going to the rodeo with Ashley. I really like expensive cowboy boots that I shouldn't keep buying. And I'm pretty simple. Pretty simple in that regard.
I mean, that's cool. Everyone's got their thing. I'm sorry, I'm quitting smoking, and like these lollipops are they're curbing the cravings. So
you're fine. You're gonna see me drink out of 10 different cups while we're on here, so don't even worry about it.
One's for hydration, one is for flavor. Like, I get it.
I get it. Coffee, lemonade. I've got an Izzy, water, a different kind of lemonade. So we're good.
Yeah. No, I get it. So, did you always know you wanted to be an author? Like, I myself, when I was a kid, one day I wanted to be president. The next week, I wanted to find Bigfoot. The next day, I wanted to be a librarian. Like, did you bounce around, or did you like, hey, I want to be an author?
No. So, pretty much until like the end of like the COVID era, like I was still going to go to med school. So I was going to be a surgeon. That was the plan.
Nice.
I even after I started writing, I actually started writing as a joke. My first book I ever wrote, which is actually coming out in September, but my friend and I had been reading like all of the popular fantasy books, ACOTAR, From Blood and Ash, the Crave series, and we were like, it'd just be fun to live in a fantasy world. And a couple of glasses of wine later, it was like, oh, we should write a book. And by we, she meant me, and I thought it was a great idea at the time. So I was like, yeah. So that night I wrote like, I don't even know how much I wrote, and I sent it to her. She was like, oh, this is good. Are you going to write the rest? And I was like, I mean, I will for you if you really want me to. Like, we're on lockdown. We can't go anywhere. What does it matter? So I finished it, and she was like, you're going to publish it. And I'm like, no. And like we went back and forth, and eventually I was just like, yeah, just so she would leave me alone. Bounce forward a couple of months. I had just moved to Chicago, and she calls me one night, and she was like, I have this book I need you to write. And I'm like, okay. And this is all she told me. This is how Misunderstood started. So they're in class, and she's sitting next to him. He thinks she's cheating off his paper, but she's not. And I was like, okay, what else? She was like, that's it. And she only had names for two of the guys. The third one didn't have a name. So I was like, all right. And then I wrote the first draft of Misunderstood in a week, and I was hooked, and now I can't stop. So
Unbalanced started as a spicy dream where I was doing Van Helsing.
That's absolutely amazing. I love that.
I was
love Van Helsing, so
recovering
I'm
from
just like-
surgery. I had tons of time on my hands, and so that's what
I love
happened.
it.
Like sometimes it just comes to you, and you
Yep.
go with it.
That's the first one I'm reading now, 100%.
I mean,
Yes. Now I've got Vanessa, who keeps giving me more books to write.
yeah. I mean, if she's your muse, you got to keep her around.
No, this up here does enough work on its own. I don't need Vanessa's help. This does enough, and then put Robert's Row together, and we come up with all sorts of random, like we come up with a new anthology or book idea or something to do together like every day. It's really unhinged is what it is. Whatever.
So, oh yeah, Matt Christensen narrated Unbalanced. I don't know if they've told you that I got nicknamed Innocent Ears because of Matt. I could not listen when I was reviewing the files to upload. I couldn't listen to the spicy parts because Matt had me feeling a certain way about my own book. I was like, I'm a married woman. I cannot be listening to another man narrate my own book to me. I can't do it. So I couldn't review those parts. So if you listen to it and you hear a mistake, like it just is what it is. I can't listen to it to correct it.
It's so funny that you say that because we always talk about, like, we all love Matt. Like, Thirsty Thursday, we love Matt. But like for us, he's more of like the brother. Like he's more of like a brother to us. So the fact that sometimes his reading elicits feelings that are not brotherly, I'm like, I'm about to be a trope in real life. Like it's,
well, my husband and I, we try when we can. We like to do, date night and stuff. And during that review process, I told my husband, because my husband's my best friend. I tell him everything. And I turned so red while we were out. My husband's like, this really bothered you. He's like, you are so red right now. I said, babe, you don't understand. I said, like, I felt very uncomfortable. I couldn't listen to it. And he was like, you want me to listen to it? I was like, so you get all turned on, listen to another man read your wife's words? I was like, hell no. Like, we're not doing this.
I love it. I love it. I don't do audiobooks often, but I'm going to get that one and listen to it on one of my 800 road trips this year. Just so I can report back to you.
Yeah, just let Matt know how good he did.
I will.
Again.
Definitely.
So you mentioned before that you like buying really expensive, cowboy boots and going to the
Mhm.
rodeos and stuff. Do you enjoy any other hobbies?
So I really like diamond painting. The problem with diamond painting is I will not finish one at once, and so the moment I put it away, I usually lose the like beads, and so I've never actually finished one because I always lose the packages and then the ones that are in the little things, like I didn't label the little tubes. Um, so I've yet to finish one. I need to stop buying the really. I buy like the massive ones. I'm like, it's gorgeous. I'm gonna do the whole thing, and then I don't. Um, Other than that, I'm trying to get back into working out. Um, but I like movies. I'm really obsessed with Pedro Pascal right now. Ashley
As
can
is
tell
most
you
of America.
she gets probably 50 reels of Pedro from me a day, and she does not complain. So that's wonderful.
It's good to have friends that understand.
Yep, yep. But I'm really just like a reader at heart. Like that's just if I've got spare time and I've got downtime and I don't have to do anything, I just want to be in bed with my book with no one talking to me.
So you said you were working on a series of books, the Boulder series.
Hmm.
Um, I'm assuming it's cowboys.
Yeah, yeah. So that one's small town cowboy romance. They're all interconnected standalones. So the first two, Ride Me and Buck Me, actually started in the. I don't know if you can see them up there. Those are our Cole County anthologies with Roberts Row. So the first half of the stories are in the last one that we put out, Drenched in Cole County. And as I said, we come up with these wonderful ideas all the time. And so Ash and I were like, we should make them full length. And then we were like, we should make them a series. And so that's how this all started. But those two are very interconnected because they're brothers that do not get along, and we will never do that again. But the rest of them are just characters that are either associated with the ranch or like from that area of Cole County and somehow connected to it.
Well, I had asked because I was going to ask, are there characters that share the same interests? So obviously, you've written characters that like cowboy boots and
Mhm.
rodeos and stuff. Are there any other characters outside of your cowboys that might share interests with you? So like watching movies, or I don't know about diamond painting, but that enjoy writing, or something like that.
Yeah, so a lot of my female characters, especially, are readers, and just in general. In Ride Me, the female main character is actually an orthopedic trauma surgeon, and I worked in ortho for like 10 years. And so back when I was going to go to med school, the doctor that I worked with was like begging me to go into ortho so that I could be a female orthopedic surgeon in their practice. There's no way in hell I would ever do that. I would never work with those men again. They are a pain in my ass and they are babies. But so I kind of just like took that part of me because I was very good at ortho, but I took that part of me, and so River is an orthopedic surgeon. Um,
I would have loved
so
to have you as my doc. I've had two knee surgeries, and I hated my doctors both times. I would have loved for you to have been my surgeon.
if I ever decide to go back, I'll let you know.
Thank you, because
I'll
like
be
I'm
there for
coming
your
up on
revision.
another surgery again. Like,
Yeah, uh, that's I don't the number of times that's happened over the years, but yeah. So usually there's like a piece of me somewhere in the characters. Like Ohio, the Scarlet Hearts one, I actually went to Ohio State. So a lot of the places that they go and like the dorm that she lived in was the dorm I lived in. And like talking about High Street and the games and stuff like that. Like so much of that is my experience from when I went there undergrad. Obviously, anything that it looks like now, I have no idea. So fingers crossed, nobody actually reads into any of those things because I don't have a clue. But there's always a little bit. I think we all do that. There's always like a little bit of you somewhere.
you write what you know.
or don't know. I do that too. Um,
I mean, I don't know shit about magic.
yeah. The one of the stories in a different anthology is based on like robotics and physics. I was terrible at physics. I don't know anything about robotics. But in that book, I pretended that I did, and they were implanting robotic parts.
I mean, if it sounds plausible, most people probably won't look into it unless they're like
I hope not.
actual robotic majors or
I
engineers
hope
or
not.
something.
I really hope not, because I don't know what I was talking about. I was just making all sorts of stuff up.
You know, I honestly, for the most part, you know, like I'll watch military movies as a veteran, and I find myself having to turn that part of my brain off and just
Mhm.
being like, I'm here to be entertained.
That's how I am with a lot of medical books. Like if there are medical providers, or like medical conditions, especially in areas that I consider myself like pretty well versed in. And Ash has this problem too because we'll read a lot of the same books and we're just like, that's so inaccurate. That would never happen. You obviously you didn't even watch a TV show to see if that was plausible. And so like it's really hard to shut that off when it's so much of like your life and who you've been, but we do the same thing.
Yeah, like I don't read a lot of the like the military guy stuff because they're just like, you know, they're like, I was a SEAL or I was Black Ops or whatever. I'm like, they wouldn't fucking tell you that, first off. Like they would not be giving you their whole backstory. They would have just been like, I was prior military and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't be telling you the missions they were on. I'm like, no. And I end up DNFing. And I'm like, that just made it so unbelievable. I can't do this no more. You
Yeah.
know? Um, but yeah, military movies, I have to turn it off. I'm like, I'm here to be entertained, and that is it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, so outside of writing, is there anything that you are, you know, like passionate about? You know, like I advocate for, you know, Palestine. I've raised money and stuff. We're also
Mhm.
doing our charity anthology for NAMI with our See Me As I Am anthology. I know Sam, I don't know if she's still in here or not. She's currently doing the Walk MS, raising money for that as well. Do you do have any charities or anything that you support?
Yeah, in general, usually anything that has to do with impoverished populations or the homeless, I usually will jump right in. There's actually an organization a distant friend of mine has here. Well, they'll put on like these events in DC, and people donate their clothes, all sorts of toiletries and hygiene products and things like that, and we just go out in the square and pass them out to whoever wants them. So I'm really passionate about things like that. But I'm also the person where if you stop me on the street and say, for 10 cents a day, you can support this child in Honduras, I will give you my card so fast. And it's so downstairs in my room, I actually on my wall, I have all of the kids that I've supposedly donated to over the years. I have all their like pictures and anything that they've sent me that they supposedly did, um, hanging on my wall because I love kids in general. So anything that has to do with kids, like I'm in their like swimwear. I try to find things where I can actually be like actively hands on and actually interacting with people. Even though I hate putting on pants, Robert's Road will tell you that.
Yes. Dude,
But
pants are the worst.
but I haven't done much of like the hands-on stuff in a while now. But I try to find things like that when I can. There, you know, that's kind of what I would like to do, like an animal shelter, but I feel like I would come home with a new one every day, and I can't do that.
I feel your pain. I'm the type of person, like my husband, like we've literally had this conversation. I was driving home one time And I went, "Oh, baby, that poor dog. He needs a home." Like, right? And my husband was like, "Babe, his owner is literally walking him on a leash." And I'm like, "That poor baby."
So I recently learned that you can, like, people sell like animals on Facebook Marketplace, and so I sometimes find myself there, and I'm like, oh, I could bring, I could,
Yeah, but I've also
bring
learned
those
that
cows
people
home.
will literally steal dogs out of people's yards that are like in loving homes. They will see like a dog in a yard, steal the dog, and then turn around and be like, "Hey, I found this dog just wandering."
That's so sad.
Yeah, people are horrible.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Um, yeah. People are shit.
They are. I don't really like a lot of people anymore. I don't know that I ever did, but
That's why you and I can't work at an animal shelter because we'd bring home all the
I would
animals and we
literally,
don't like people.
if I, so not if, let me put it this way. When I do buy a house, I'm praying for myself because the number of animals that I will probably bring home is obscene. Don't let me actually get my ranch or my farm because I will bring home all the cows, goats, chickens, horses, probably some pigs 'cause I think they're actually super cute, and donkeys, and I don't know how to care for any of these animals. I
No,
don't have a clue.
no, dude. Like I was, so it. My husband and I have a 5 year plan. Our youngest is a freshman in high school, and so the 5 year plan is literally get our youngest to graduated, and then we're gonna move. Whether the kids are out of the house or not, we're moving. Like, sorry, figure it out, right? And we wanted to move and get. We didn't necessarily care how big the house was, but we wanted a huge yard and just
Mhm.
get like a shit ton of dogs, like free range
I love
dogs.
it. I love
And
it.
at least one donkey, and I wanted to name the donkey after my husband because he's an ass.
Yes, mini goats, and I specifically have to have some fainting goats because they're hilarious when they just like all of a sudden like go stiff and just like fall over. One of my favorite videos. I'm like, are they okay?
All right, so let's try to get it a little bit back on track. Otherwise, we'll be talking about like all the animals and stuff we're gonna have. So, oh yeah. So, what are a few of your favorite things? This could be food, candy, holidays, your favorite season, whatever you feel like sharing with us.
Ooh, a few of my favorite things. Okay, cheese fries. I love cheese fries.
Absolutely.
Popcorn. So we'll do like two
Okay.
food items. Um, I absolutely like. I'm just gonna say animals because depending on my mood that day, like a different animal may be my favorite. So I'm just gonna go with animals. Um, oh, you're a chocolate girly. I wish I liked chocolate. I
Yeah, I'm
absolutely
not a
hate
big
summer.
chocolate fan either.
Stop that. I love water, but I don't want to be in the water. I just want to like smell it and I want to listen to it and I want to look at it. I don't want to be in the water though.
That is fair. I can agree with that.
Um and then books, obviously.
Those are all great answers. I love that. Okay. Then what was your most recent 5-star read?
Oh, that's easy. Bryce by Ashley Willow down here in the comments. I actually just finished it 2 days ago. It's back up on the shelf and I can't take it down because anytime I move one of those books, they all kind of like just go flying. But Bryce is her not no, not her most recent release. She released it like a year ago. But it's so good. So if you haven't read it, go read it. It's awesome. It is her um oh, with a secret. Is it a secret? Can I say it's her brother-in-law? I don't read synopses, so I don't know if that's giving it away. Well, it's her husband's brother.
I don't read the blurbs or synopsis either. Like I get a lot of my recs from here on TikTok. So like I'll listen to reviews and stuff. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, that sounds great. So I'll add it to my wish list, which
Yeah.
like I have it linked, but it's really for me because like no one
Me
ever buys
too.
anything, right?
Me too.
But I forget. I have the worst memory, right? So obviously if it's on my list, I thought it sounded good. So when I'm
Mhm.
going through to buy a book, I'm like, I don't remember what this is, but it obviously sounded great. So I'll just like buy it. And then when it gets to me, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I go in blind.
That's how I don't want to know a thing. I don't want to know anything. I probably know more about the row books because we're on live together every day and we're like literally talking. But I want to go in blind. Like I don't want to know anything. Don't tell me anything. I don't read synopses, which is why mine are so terrible. Um like I don't want to know.
Really,
I
the
just want to
only
start.
thing I usually remember the genre of it because
Mhm.
I read just about everything. So
Same.
I can usually remember, oh, I think this one was a romance. Oh, I think this one was a splatter punk. Oh, I think this one was a,
What
this.
is splatterpunk?
It's an extreme horror book.
Oh.
So it's not just like, ooh, this is going to be scary. I can expect there to be extreme gore and violence and
Ooh,
sex.
send me some Rex.
Oh, are you sure? Because, like, like there are some dark romance girlies that are like, oh, no triggers. Like, no, this is like
Nope, I'm in. Sign me up.
mess, messed up.
Sign
Like,
me
you
up.
might throw up a little bit.
That's fine. Sign me up. That's fine. I'll take a
Okay.
break. Take a break. Jump right back in. Let's go.
Okay. I will send you a few recs. They're short reads. Um, and if you read them and you're like, oh yes, this is for me, then I will send you some more stuff. Yeah, they are intense. Like the first ones I started getting into, I literally like I need more.
There
They're
was what's the one that I read that it was really popular, and I don't know if it qualifies as this, but it ends with you'll know if you've read it. It ends with him like rebirthing himself out of her hoo ha.
no, I haven't read it. Let me tell you, my introduction to it was by CM Goudreau's, and she literally got me hooked with one video, and it was, is it still inchmest if her head is not attached? And I said, oh, I'm about to go find out. Bought the book, and then I read it because she writes short stories. I read it, and then went and read her entire backlog in 2 days.
I mean, my immediate answer to that would be like yes.
I mean, yeah, the question was already answered, but I needed to be sure, and so I went and found out.
That's wild. Now I'm trying to look it up because I need to know what the name of this book was. Um, I don't know if this counts as that, but like it was very disturbing, and I was literally like, I don't. What did I read? Um, but that's what
Yeah,
I wanted to be
the
disturbing.
the whole the whole genre is like so messed up, and it's so delightfully disgusting.
I'm game. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's see. Where?
Anyway, we're getting off track. Let's do a quick. Let's do while you're if you're still wanting to look that up. Let's do a giveaway and now
Yeah.
Schmiv announcement. I keep forgetting to censor myself. Schmiv announcement. If you would like to wish, yeah, boxing gloves. Drop some boxing gloves down in the comment section below. We are rehoming Nightlife. Her
Yep.
book, Nightlife. This is for US only. Sorry, Tracy, if you're still in here. But yes, physical copy of Nightlife. You just drop some boxing gloves down in the comments.
That's all right. Tracy just won. Tracy actually just won this duology, or well, not won it.
Oh,
In the auction that we just did. So Tracy's already getting a set, so she's all good. And
oh.
even if she
Way to
wasn't,
go, Tracy.
Tracy's my. Oh, hang on one second. My mom is calling me. Can
Hi,
I call you
Mom.
back in like 2 minutes? Okay, give me a minute. I'll call you back. Anyway, yeah.
How long do you think the interview is?
Huh?
Do you think the interview's at an hour or 2 hours?
This one?
Yeah. Usually it's a 2 hour interview, but if you need to wrap up in 20 minutes,
No,
we can.
no. She can.
Okay. I was about to say, your mom takes priority.
No, she doesn't.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. So, for those of us down in the audience, if they don't know you, can you tell us what genres do you write in?
What genres don't I write in? That's a historical romance. That's a shorter list. No, I'm all over the board. So my tagline is romance remix. So there's usually romance in there. And then it's just kind of whatever genre or genres kind of worked their way out of there. So I've got contemporary, I've got dystopian, I've got dark academia, fantasy, paranormal, crime thriller. I've got like a mafia coming. I've got some more paranormal, kind of like crime vibes. That's coming. I've got an epic fantasy that's coming. So it's really whatever I felt like writing. So there's something for everyone.
I love that. And how many books do you currently have?
Solo releases, I currently have 10. Uh, if we count other anthologies, 18,
Amazing.
possibly. I think 18. I think 18.
That's so cool. I need to get on your level.
You
Do
don't
you
need
have
this.
a favorite?
Yes. So I'm gonna do like two different categories because they're completely different. So Rise of the Grissom is my baby. This was my favorite. This was a request from a friend. She asked me to write something wild and I came up with this. But I also really love Ride Me. Like it's everything. So contemporary side, this one's my favorite. Non-contemporary side, this one's my favorite.
I'm so glad I got that one too.
I love it. Ugh, personally, I love it. I'm biased.
So, where did you get the inspiration for your books?
Um, it kind of like they're all a little bit different. So like I said, like Grissom was a friend was like, I want you to write this. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get all those things into a book. And I got most of them. I failed on dragons. Dragons didn't happen, so I owe her a dragon book still. But um like Nightlife was a prompt, started originally from a prompt that I was writing for a writing contest. Because I went through this phase where I was gonna do like all those online platform writing contests. I didn't do any of them. Um what else do I have? Let's see. Um,
Bobby
Feathers
said
of,
someone mentioned some random thing, and B goes, okay, here's a book.
I mean, pretty much. So, Feathers of Truth actually was part of an anthology, and I hadn't written anything outside of contemporary yet. And so, my friend was like, it's just paranormal found family. And I'm like, I don't know how to write this. And kind of a little secret about me, like my dream tattoo would be a phoenix like on my entire back that goes down my arms, so if my arms were to move it would look like the phoenix's wings were moving, like in a dream world. I do not have the balls to
Like,
actually
you
get
are
that done.
so cool. Like,
I don't have the balls to get that done, and I know that about myself. I'll get other tattoos. I don't have the balls for that. So that's where the female main character kind of came in. I was like, okay, I got to do a paranormal creature. I don't want to do vampires or witches or any of the stuff that we normally do. It's just like, oh, a phoenix. Okay. And then I was like, wait, she can have the tattoo that I've always wanted. And so So she actually does have that tattoo on her back and like down the back of her arms. I didn't know she was going to be a homicide detective. I knew she was going to be a hit woman. And then all of a sudden she was like going to work to solve murders the next day. And I was really confused.
They just do their own thing sometimes.
They do. So.
All right. So she sounds super cool. Is she your favorite character, or is one of your other characters your favorite?
Oh, that's really hard. Favorite character. Okay, actually, my favorite character is in the first book I wrote, the fantasy that's coming out in September. That's called The Shadows That Shackle. The two female main characters are best friends, and one of them, the personality was kind of based off of my friend, and then the other one, Serena, was based off of me. So she's a little bit more intense. She has a slightly more rough side, and so one of my favorite lines is she likes using her twin sharp objects because she likes to be close to her opponent when she unalives them. And
Nice.
so I think Serena is probably my favorite like female main character, but the one from Feathers is very close and kind of like that badassery realm, and how she carries herself. So I would say probably them.
I like a strong, badass female main character.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
All of mine are in their own way, even if it's not necessarily in like a I will unalive you in seconds type way.
I mean, and that's the thing. Strength is I mean, I like the in your face type, but there is also something to be said for the quiet strength. You know, a resilient type of strength. You don't always have to be loud. There's always the like my mom doesn't have to be loud to get her point across. But she's
Right.
always been that steady rock type person, you
Right.
know? No. Okay, so who's your least favorite character? And don't just right off the bat say the villain. Just
Okay.
that one person you were like, I hate writing this guy, but I have to.
I got it. So this one's who I choose. One of the guys, Colt, he is the most frustrating, pathetic, weak man you could ever imagine in this book. And there were so many times I wanted to unalive him, but he's part of the, oh, whatever, Valen will grow on you, stop it. He's part of the choose. So, like, I couldn't do that. And I really hated myself sometimes because I made him part of the choose and I couldn't just get rid of him when I wanted to. I know in book 2 he's going to redeem himself a little bit, but in this book, I'm just like, every time I write something, I'm like, I can't stand you. I can't stand you. And I wish that you would grow a backbone and a pair and maybe anything else so that you were not so pathetic.
Right.
That one was easy. That was an easy one.
All right, so do you prefer standalones or series? You seem to have like a mixture of both. Which do you?
To read or write?
Both.
Sometimes, okay, so for reading, sometimes just not having the commitment of a series is so good. And like, so sometimes I really just crave a standalone, but I will almost always love a series because I never want, especially if I'm really into it, I don't want it to end. Like, I want to keep making me books. I don't even care if nothing actually happens except for them living their day-to-day life. I want to know what happens. Like, I need to know. Just keep telling me. In my writing life, I actually don't know how to write a standalone. I have tried. Scarlet Hearts was supposed to be a standalone. It's now going to be a 4-book interconnected series. Feathers of Truth was supposed to just be the story that was in the anthology, and it was just going to end on that cliffhanger, and that was going to be it. I was never going to do anything else with it. I was never going to write more. and that's going to be a trilogy, maybe a quad, because I don't know what these characters are going to get themselves into in book 3 yet. We'll see. I think that's it. Nightlife was never really supposed to go anywhere in terms of having a second book, but when I wrote it for the Waddies. And so like I had to end it somewhere, so it ended on a cliffy, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of have to like write the rest, but I was like, do I want to? I did. So I don't know how to write a standalone yet. I'm working on it.
I love that. I love how you're like, well, I have to end it somewhere, which, like, to me says, yeah, it ended. But then you were like, yeah, so I ended it on a cliffhanger. Like, that's the logical way to end a book.
For
Like,
me,
no, the logical way to end a book is the end.
for me, a cliffy is the logical way to end.
No,
That's like
the
that's the
logical way to end a
natural.
book is they lived happily ever after.
I mean, you'll get it at the end of the series. You just gotta hang tight for a hot minute.
Oh, I think you and I could be really good friends, because I love that. Like, yeah, so I just ended it on a cliffhanger. It's cool.
I mean, I'll tell you too. Like, I'll be honest about it. I'll tell you, you know, how bad it is. Feathers is the worst one, so probably not the one you want to start with. But unless you're a go-getter, be strong, because then none of the rest of them will be as bad.
All right, so basically any book that you release, if I see like a book 1, I should just wait until book 3 before I start getting them.
If you're not good with Cliffies, then yes. Because I also don't know how bad the Cliffy's going to be. Like, some of them aren't so terrible. Like the end of book 1 of Misfits, not terrible, but like you're also like, well, dang, what happens now? And that's kind of how I feel about the tournament too. You're like, well, what? But then Feathers is like, as Gracie will put it, I shoved you off a cliff with a Mack truck onto rocks and with water that is also drowning you, and probably some sharp objects at the same time.
Okay. Hey, is anyone down in the comments going to be at Sinful besides Tracy? Anyone?
The whole row will be there.
Okay, I need you all, like, I'm a slow reader. Okay, I'm just letting y'all know I'm a pretty slow reader. But if you see me, I'm also a slow walker, okay? But if you see me walking fairly quickly towards her, just know I read the Grissom book, and y'all need to go start protecting her, okay? Like, I can't do much damage, okay? But you need to protect her, because I did not like the way it ended.
But Grissom comes out right before Sinful. Grissom 2.
But I'm a slow reader.
But
isn't that
just
okay?
finishing it, then you'll be able to go right into the next one. You won't have to wait.
Oh, that okay. Okay.
I mean,
she can live with the consequences.
Thank you, Bobby.
They must really love you if they're like, no, you'll be okay. All right, you guys, it is time for another schmiv. Chance to win. We are giving schmiving, rehoming, surprise adoption, for Nightlife. Again, the emoji is boxing gloves. So if you would like a chance to win, drop it down in the comments. We are going to be announcing the winner at the end. Again, the boxing gloves.
Tracy, put your gloves away.
I was about to say this, it's US only, Tracy. Again, we'll remind everybody again, there's multiple chances to win. That way, for those of you that stick around. Okay. So, Britton, how do you handle the author life balance? That's the normal response we get, actually. Everyone's usually like, the what?
So, I mean, I work full time. I mostly work from home because I don't really have to go into the office. Actually, my workstation, literally, if I just rotate my chair this way, is right here. So they're next to each other. So I
No
never really
commute.
turn.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I never really turn the authoring off because if I'm not sitting here at my computer, then I'm probably answering stuff on social media or I'm posting or I might be in bed editing. So it never really gets turned off. Yeah, exactly, Bobby. Balance with a question mark. There's not really a balance. And I think that that's something that I'm sure like people that have other responsibilities, they have families, they have kids, you know, they actually have to leave their houses, probably have to balance a bit more. And I feel like I'm probably at a different advantage because I don't. I just have to make sure I feed the cats. Um, you know, keep them alive. So I don't really have like a separation. And as an indie author, I mean, you know this, and I'm sure anyone else who's an indie author in the comments knows this. We do a lot of stuff by ourselves, practically everything. And so if it's not one thing you have to get done, it's something else. And finding the time to do that isn't always easy. So a lot of times you just don't get to shut it off. Like you're just because you're like, I have to do this one thing and it's not something that I like, which is usually your newsletter or editing or making social media posts, which are the bane of my existence. I don't really have a balance. I just have I have like modes. Like I'm in admin mode or I'm in editing mode or I'm in writing mode or I'm staring at the wall because I put out that I'm releasing like 10 more books this year and I have to write them all mode. Yeah, so it's just always there. It's always on.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. I'm disabled, so most people say like, well, I'm a full-time author, but
Mhm.
I really don't think of it like that. You know, like I try to say, hey, from like 9 to 5, I'm authoring,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like my second oldest is she does virtual schooling,
Mhm.
but like today I had to take her to traffic court, right? Because she got a ticket, right? So my 9 to 5 was interrupted because I had to take her up
Yep.
to traffic court, right? So now all my other stuff got moved. And then
Mhm.
like my day is constantly interrupted because I'm having to mom or I'm having to do this or I'm having to do that. And it's like, am I really doing my 9 to 5 when I'm constantly having to stop because my kid forgot his lunch or
Yeah.
this or this? And so, am I really a full time author or am I a stay at home mom or am I this or am I that? And it's like,
I mean, I say you're full time if that's what your job is or like your income or whatever, like you're full time. Even whether
like,
your full time is 3 hours or your full time is 12 hours because everyone's productivity is different in like the hours that they have to use too. Now, I
I
totally
mean,
get the interruptions.
my author career, it don't pay for shit. Like
Mine
my
doesn't
my
either.
royalties was $3 last month. You
Yeah.
know, like can't even buy me a fucking coffee. So
Yeah. No, mine does not. My job pays for everything that I do. Which is fine. Like, it is what it is. Would I love for it to pay for at least pay for itself? That would be marvelous. We're working on it. Work in progress. But
right.
but I still say like even if the royalties aren't there, if it's what you do, like as your job, your career, and you look at it as something past like a hobby, then you're a full-time author. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There are plenty of people that are full-time entrepreneurs and they're not making a darn cent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of people that, and that's the thing too. You know, like I tell other people all the time, they're like, "Oh wow, I wish I could stay home like you do," and I'm just like, dude, you don't want to stay home. Like the reason I'm home all day is because I'm broken, right? Like I'm disabled. I'm in so much pain. I'm physically incapable of working,
Yeah.
right? Like if I wasn't broken, I would still be in the army, right? Like I wouldn't be writing, right? I write because that's literally the only thing I can do.
Yeah.
You know, like don't want like don't be like me.
But also, I think there's a really strong misconception about like what working from home or being home actually is. Like I still work all day. And
Yeah.
oftentimes like it'll be 5, I can shut that off, but and I'm over here doing something, but one of my bosses needs something. Like so I'm swiveling back on over here to do something. And when you're home, like, yes, I can sit here all day, but I still hear every lawn service that's outside. I still hear my neighbor that has the super loud muffler and probably a micro penis. I still
Yep.
hear the mail truck. I still have my cats running around the house. Like when my mom is home, she's the most disruptive person ever. So it's not quite as simple as like I just wish I could stay home and do stuff because the house, like, unless you live in the middle of nowhere where there's literally nothing around you, you don't really necessarily get that uninterrupted silence or focus all the time.
Yeah,
So I
and
empathize.
there's a misconception too, like, oh, if you're working from home, you're just like laying around sleeping and napping and watching
God, I
TV.
wish.
Like,
I
no,
wish.
like that you still have to be productive. You still have to
Hmm.
do things. Like, there's no like people are just they make all kinds of excuses and stuff, like not realizing how it really is.
Yeah, it's not that simple. I mean, it's great. Do I love being able to mostly work from home? Absolutely, because I don't put on real pants almost ever. I go to the office if my bosses need me to go to the office. Otherwise, I don't because so like I live in Northern Virginia and our office is in DC. I refuse to drive into DC anymore. I did those years of my life. I'm not doing it again. So I'll take the train in, but that's like 2 hours each way by the time I drive to the train station, take the train, walk the 2 blocks to the office, and then, the car ride and everything. So it's not like I don't like to waste my time doing that, although it's great reading time because there's nothing else to do except for sit there. Um, but it's not always easy just being at home either.
I mean, there's pros and cons. I mean, the commute, wasting your time and money and all that other stuff. But being at home and being isolated too can wreak havoc on your mental health.
Oh, I love the isolation. That part I do love.
I mean, don't, yeah. Like, I am an introvert, like all the way. If I could never leave my house again, I wouldn't.
Oh my God, the number of times I prayed for there to be another pandemic outbreak and we have to go back into
I
lockdown.
don't want anyone to get hurt. But the whole don't leave your house thing, like, thank you. I get all my social interaction via my phone, and I'm okay with that.
Yep, that's plenty. That's
Yeah.
plenty for me. And I see my friends at these signings, and that's plenty for me too. Because I'm usually dead after
What
that.
sucks though is my husband's an extrovert, so he needs
Mm,
the interaction. Like, so, like, he's like, babe, I need to go out. I'm like, go. Like, he'll go to work and he'll interact with all his work buddies and stuff, and then he'll
yeah.
come home and be ready for the quiet time, right? But when he's not at work, he comes and bothers me. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's my mom and my sister are both super extroverted. My sister has like a shy side to her if she's with like people she doesn't know, but she likes to go out. She likes to, go out and about and do things. And I'm like, does it require real pants?
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
no for me, dog.
like I have to fix my hair.
That's
I,
why I like my short hair.
I have to hold actual conversations with people. And that's the thing too, is like my everyday job. I work for like we'll just say a well-known company, and I talk to people all day. I don't want to go talk to other people. I just spend all day talking to people, unless it's the row. I love talking to them, but
Because they're your friends.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to go to the drive-through. Like, I do delivery because I don't even want to interact to like do any of that.
All right. So, what do you enjoy most about your writing?
Just telling stories and just seeing where they go. My, one of my favorite things is when someone's like, "Oh, where's the story going?" I'm like, "I have no idea. Let's both find out together." I don't have a clue. Like I think
I
that
never
that's
know what I'm
such a
doing
fun part.
either.
But also like the reader reactions. I love when readers pop into like my DMs, or like obviously people that have my number or whatever, and they're giving me their reactions as they read it. I eat that stuff up. Like, I absolutely love it. And so it like breaks my heart when readers like, I don't want to bother the author. I don't want to reach out to them. I'm like, no, please do it. Do it. Because a lot of times we're probably having a really rough day because our KDP page rates are down, or we tried to do our newsletter and it like blanked out on us 3 times and didn't save, or our social media post isn't getting any views, or we've uploaded our manuscript like 5 times and there's still something wrong with it. And doing that in KDP takes ages. Like, there are a lot of, for all the good stuff that happens as being an author, there are a lot of days where we had something happen, and little things like that make our day.
Absolutely.
And you're out there, please hop into our DMs if you're gonna be positive. If you're not, don't come to our DMs. But like, with the good stuff, we love it. You're not bothering us. And if there is an author that says you're bothering them, hopefully my face conveys everything I feel about that.
All right. So then, what do you like least?
Marketing.
Yeah, that's usually what we get. That's I always want to be like, so you like marketing least, right? But I don't want to just assume, because just knowing my luck, someone would be like, actually, I like marketing. I'd be like, ew.
No, do not like marketing at all. Especially because like, it seems like I can never figure it out. I do the things other people have done. I do different things than other people have done. I ride a wave. I miss the wave.
Yeah.
Try all of the above. Do the boosted post. Don't do the boosted post. And it's just like, it seems like it's never the right thing at the right time. And I haven't mastered it yet. And so it's just, it's one of those things where you put in so much and you're like, something's going to take. And it's like, you're on try like 500 and it's like, it's still not taking. And then something good happens. You get a post that like all of a sudden gets a bunch of views, or like all of a sudden you have like enormous number of page reads, and you're like, where do these come from? And you have no idea what you did to make it happen, because you try to do it again and it doesn't replicate. So you're just like,
that hasn't happened to me, so I can't relate. Must be nice. No,
I'm just throwing this out there for like, in general, things
it'll happen. No. Anytime I've ever had a video go even semi-viral, it's never been for one of my books. It's always been something stupid and random, and never for, like, I had a video one time hit 100,000 views, and it was for me and my daughter doing something dumb.
Yeah, I've never even gotten that many.
Most of my video, like, I got most of my followers because of my stupid tiny hands.
The tiny hands are great though.
Yeah, no, everyone knows me because of my tiny hands, and I've actually had people comment, "Oh, I didn't know you wrote books." Like half my videos are my books, and people are still like, "I didn't know you wrote books." I'm like, "You motherfuckers!" So I stopped doing the tiny hands videos,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I started losing followers, and like still wasn't selling books. I'm like, mm. So you mentioned before that you don't like you just kind of wing it when you write your book. So would you consider yourself a pantser then?
100%.
Have you ever tried plotting?
We'll say loose plotting, as in like I tried to plan out a couple of scenes, and it didn't. It just doesn't. I'm not going to follow any sort of formula. I'm just not. Once I have the first sentence of the book, then like once it comes to my head, then it kind of just unravels. And a lot of times, I will see things that really Artemis. I will see things like scene. Really Artemis. I will see things like scenes that happen in a book, like almost like a movie trailer. Like I see them vividly. I like hear it. I smell it. Like I have no idea where that scene's going to happen. I have no idea how we're going to get there.
I have cats, so I know what you're going through.
I just know it's going to happen, and so I just write, and eventually it comes up somewhere, some way. But I that's as close to any sort of like.
No, I get it. I have insomnia, so one of my methods to try to help calm my brain to help me fall asleep is I think of what I want to happen next in my book, and I see the movie in my head.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is what I want to happen. And someone told me that I'm plotting it out in my head. And I'm like, no, I'm more kind of narrating, not narrating, like producing.
You're like screen directing.
Yeah, like screen directing in my head. I'm more like, I got the actors and the scene set, and I'm like, okay, action, and directing them how I want it to go. And then the next day I try to write it out.
Yeah.
You know, of course, when I go to write it out, my characters are like, I think it should be this way. But that's how I do it too. So they never, I never know what's going on.
Nope.
They change it. I can't outline.
I just yell at them every day because they do stupid things.
So do you have any writing routines? Like you need to put on music, have a special drink, have things a certain way for you to get into the mood or anything?
Nope. I just sit right here, open up my readsy. I usually have music on. Sometimes I will put on like a movie that I've watched like a million times, or I'll put on UFC fights because those actually calm me. I know it's weird, but and I don't even need to hear it. Like it'll just be playing, and I'll go ahead and do my thing. Usually I have music on though.
With or without lyrics?
With lyrics.
Okay. Do you have a certain playlist, or do you just kind of let it?
I do have a playlist that I play every day. It's actually called the Nora Roberts Sing It playlist.
Okay.
Which I started back when we first became Roberts Row, but I've added to it since. But I usually play that one. I'm actually the person. So I usually have a collection of songs that are like my favorites of the time, and I will Jordan Davis. I love Jordan Davis. I will queue them up. So I will literally go and sit there and go through the playlist and put them in queue, so that's what I'm hearing for like the next couple of hours, and that kind of helps me like, I guess like hone my focus as long as we're not getting into shenanigans. And so that way when the other songs start playing on the playlist, like I'm already like in the groove. So I guess maybe that's something that I do. I usually, like I said, I usually have like 10 different drinks like on my desk. So this is like lemonade over here. This one's coffee. This one's a different type of lemonade. This one's, I got an Izzy water. And I just alternate.
I put on don't judge me, but I put on Ancient Aliens. I really
Oh,
like conspiracy theories and stuff. I think
oh, I like
they're
that.
yeah. Well, like I said, I like conspiracy theories. I think they are hilarious. Because if you don't actually think about it, they make sense. As soon as you look like if you look closely at it, you're like, wow, this is really dumb. But if you take it at entertainment value, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
this is interesting. I've seen it a gazillion times. So background noise. So when I need to take a break, I can watch it, and then
Hmm.
I'm like, all right, back at it. I start writing again. I got my well, I had Taco Bueno for dinner, but I got my Dr. Pepper. Recently, I've gotten my Dum Dums, so I'm not out smoking, um, and that's my routine pretty much.
I like it. I like it.
Um, so why did you choose indie over traditional publishing? And did you try to get into the trad publishing at all?
No, I never did. I debated doing it for The Shadows That Shackle, the one that's coming out in September. Because at the time I was reading like 90% fantasy. And so they're beautiful. The covers are gorgeous. They have gold foiling. There's maps inside. And then there's other pretty pictures. And I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this. Because back then I'd only had Misunderstood out. And the fact that I even got an image in there in the first place is a miracle. But like, I did not do any of that. I still don't know how to do most of that. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a
If you
clue.
need some help with
Um,
maps, I know someone who does maps.
ooh, that would,
I can hook you up.
yep, let's talk about that later. Um, but so I thought I like went back and forth on it for that one, but um ultimately I looked up what it takes to like query and like getting an agent and all that stuff. I'm like, who has time for that? And at the time, the job that I was at, I was working like 60-hour work weeks, even though I was working from home because I lived in Chicago and the company was here. So I mean, I was working from home, but like a 60-hour work week and then
It's
trying
crazy.
to like develop 800 different query letters. I was like, I'm not doing it. So I'm like, you know what? I got the first book live. I got it on KDP. I did something right. I feel like I can keep doing this. And then as I did more research, I was like, you know what? I'm a control freak. I don't I don't want to go to a publisher, try to sell them my book for them to then come back and tell me, well, I want you to change this, this, and this. And I'm like, that's not how it was written.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that. So like, yeah, the indie life is hard because we have to do so much on our own. It all comes out of our own pocket. There's no advances. There's no like, special perks or anything that you get with a trad publisher, but I'm in charge. At the end of the day, like I say what goes. And so I really like that. I think the only way I would go trad is if books that I already have out like did really well and they came to me and they're like, we want them as is. Like, we want to change your cover, but like we want them as is. I'd be like, okay, what's the deal? Like, and if it was the right thing, I might entertain it, but I'm a control freak. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I figured too. Unless they came to me, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna win. Plus, like as tough as I think I am, I know after like my second one, I'd be like, "I'm so horrible," and I'd
Yeah.
cry and give up. So,
Yeah. I'm not good with rejection. Um in that regard, and that's like mommy issues stuff. We're not going to get into that because it's not a therapy session, but
right.
you know most of the time I can laugh it off and I'm like, okay, whatever. But
Hmm.
if you get me on the wrong day, it'll stick with me forever. Which is like why I haven't written the second book of the tournament, because back then I would read my reviews. I know I'm not supposed to. This was like over a year ago. This is like some time ago. And several of them, like, just they were not good. And I'm like, well, you're comparing it to something that it wasn't supposed to be compared to. And it made me feel really bad because at the time, that was my favorite one I wrote. Like, that was so fun to write that story because it was just kind of like wild and kind of out there. Um, I've never really read dystopian. I haven't really watched dystopian unless, I mean, not unless, except for Divergent. But I haven't read any of those books. So,
Yeah,
like,
and that's not those books like Divergent was very much stripped of a lot of things that dystopian. You
yeah,
know, it was very much made to be mass produced to be able to be read by everyone. You
yeah.
know,
And so it just, like, it still sticks with me. Like, I've written a portion of book two, but I felt like I was like forcing it and I wasn't feeling it and I was just trying to get it out because I wanted to finish the series. But like that just caught me at a bad time and it's just stuck with me. So I don't think I could handle the rejection of trad. Like I don't think I could do it.
and that's fair. You know, I read my reviews too. I don't respond to them. I don't, because
Yep, I
those
don't
are reader
respond.
spaces. I read them though to see what I'm doing right, you know, what readers are
Mhm.
saying they loved about the book, but also if I'm seeing a lot of the same comments of what they didn't like. So moving forward, I
Yes.
can be like, well, if they're not liking this one particular thing, I need to change that, you know? So I mean, there was one review that like she wrote a whole essay about why she didn't like my book, and it hurt my feelings a bit, but
Yeah.
she's entitled to her opinion, and it obviously wasn't the book for her, and I have to bravely move on.
Yeah, I only so after the book's been out for 3 months, I don't read them anymore. Unless like a friend of mine was like, "Oh, did you see the review?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me go look for it." I don't read them anymore because I read them early on to see if there's any issues I missed or if like there were someone saw something as a problem. Um, because things like that I can fix. If you just didn't like a character, if like the pace wasn't for you, if you don't like my writing style, if like you don't like their relationship or who ended up with who, like I, with all due respect, I really don't give a fuck. I'm not
Yeah.
changing that. Um, you know, but if there were legitimate issues or maybe like someone saw something as harmful that I don't see as harmful, like I look out for those things in the first couple of months now, and then after that I don't read them anymore.
Yeah. No, I don't really pay attention too much. It's especially on Unbalanced, because that was my first book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's I know it was my first book, and I know you know I have things I need to work on. You know, like I'm improved.
Yeah.
You know, the next books I put out are not going to be the same book. You know, so if someone reading it now, if they're going to make a review, like it's not going to matter if really, you know, I'm
Right.
not the same writer I was years ago now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but so we know you have, is it 8 or 10 books coming out this year? You have a lot of books coming out this
Let's
year.
see. Okay, books still coming out. Ride Me is May 9th. Dimmer of the Light is July 14th. The Shadows That Shackle is September 25th. I'm testing myself to see if I remember them all now too. October 7th is Don't Scream. Venetia is October 13th. Nope. Yeah, that's right. October 17th is The Loyals. And then um, Feathers of Change will come out sometime probably in December. I'm missing one. Oh, November 15th is Want Me.
It's a good date.
Yeah, Ash and I picked that on purpose because that's the next one in our Boulder Ranch series. Um, so I guess
It's my mommy's birthday.
that's 8 more. Oh, happy birthday, mom! Um, 8 more this year, not including also we have our last Cole County anthology coming out in May. So we actually have a giveaway going right now with Roberts Row for people to guess how many books we are going to collectively put out by the end of the year. And the the funny thing is we don't even know. Like
That's not fair. How are you going to sit there and be like, guess how many books, and y'all don't even know?
Because that's the whole fun of it, is if someone can accurately guess. Because we have no idea. Like, so prime example, Want Me. Ash and I were only going to put out one Boulder Ranch book this year. We just didn't feel like we had the time. And then we found out what we have to do to like link them on Amazon. So we're like, okay, let's put up one more this year. We just decided that a week ago. That was nowhere in the plan. The Loyals was not even a book concept I had until Books and Bourbon announced their theme as Secret Society. And then all of a sudden the idea came to me, and I was like, it'd be so great to release a Secret Society book for Books and Bourbon. With what time? What time? So there's
y'all are wild. Like, y'all just like, let's do this.
Yep. We are all going to find out together on December 31st how many books we collectively, like Bobby last year, she was like, I'm working on a secret project. 2 weeks later, she like released a book, and we were like, what? So that's kind of the fun in it, is that we are wild. We have no idea, and we have zero chill in that regard.
All right. Like, y'all are good for you guys. Like, I can't even get my shit together enough to write a book.
Yep. Nope.
I've been struggling.
1 second. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Bye. Why couldn't you just text me? You could have texted me that. See, those interruptions that we were talking about, like being at home. Yeah.
I know.
In a text message.
I know. I texted all my kids before we got on here. I was like, I'm about to be busy. If you need anything, go talk to Dad.
He knows I was getting on here. And yet.
All right. So besides your 9, maybe more books coming out this year, how many works in progress do you have going on?
So there's different definitions of work in progress. So books that I have started or have partially released in an anthology, probably like 12. The 2 that I am working on, like kind of back and forth right now, are Dimmer of the Light, which is book 2 for Grissom, and then Don't Scream, which is the dark mafia romance coming out in October. So those are the 2 that I'm like working on right now, but yeah. So once I finish one of those, then I'll start writing something at whichever one decides it wants to come next.
That's fair. So like, I got the Audi HD, so I get shiny new ideas like all the time. And so what I like to do is, because I know I'll forget, so I'll start writing it out. Sometimes it's a few sentences, sometimes I'll get like a whole chapter out.
Yes.
And then I put it in the folder, right? So like I have 52 works in progress, but I only actively work on a few at a time. So I'm actively working on 4 of them, but I have like 52.
Yeah, I try to write one at a time, so that way I don't like fall out of touch with the characters or have to go back and do a lot of rereading or anything like that. Like, so for instance, Scarlet Hearts, like I said, that was supposed to be a standalone, and it's now going to be at least like a 4-book series. I don't remember what siding I was driving to. On the way down, I wrote like majority of book 2 in my head. On the way back, I wrote like half of book 3 in my head. I refuse to go and put that on paper because I know if I do, one, I'm going to have to pay attention and I'm going to have to finish those books because I'm going to become hyper fixated. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden, the books that I already have scheduled to come out, like I'm scrambling to edit those fast enough. And all of a sudden, there are going to be 2 other books coming out this year that were not on the docket. And
That's where I'm at.
myself.
That's where I'm at. So like I'm writing one book right now, but the other ones, the characters keep showing up in my head. And I'll get the scenes and everything. I'm like, oh man, that's so perfect. Oh, that book's going to be so awesome. Like I have it all planned out. But
Yep.
I know as soon as I start typing it out, then the book that I'm trying to get published, like soon, like that's going to end up in the folder. And it will never get done. So I'm trying to get that one finished. But I know as soon as this one gets finished, that all of these amazing, wonderful scenes I have stuck in my head, they'll be gone.
Yep.
And I'll never get them out.
That's the other thing is like I'm like, okay. So a lot of times I'll replay scenes in my head so that I make sure I don't lose like the details. And a lot of times I don't lose the actual details. Sometimes the dialogue is a little bit different when I actually go to write it because I don't remember exactly what they said. And I get mad because I'm like, oh, it was so epic, whatever I thought, and I can't remember it. But that's kind of like the price that I pay for needing to control myself. Quite frankly, if I didn't have to work, if I had no life responsibilities at all, I would probably put out like a book a week because I'm that kind of like crazy in terms of like just I need to get it out. Like once it's done, I need to edit it. I need to get it out there. I don't sit on books. I'm not good at that. I've tried.
See, I wish I had the money for editors. Like I can't type as fast as my brain works. I'm pretty sure I could eventually type that fast. Well, maybe not that fast, but I'm sure I could get faster at typing. I just don't have the money, and I don't think my editor would like me very much. You know, maybe I could probably do maybe 2 books a year, but
Yeah, I use a handful of different people, most of which are friends of mine. And so last minute I just kind of like send it to them and I'm like, I'm sorry. I need it back in like a week and a half. Thanks, bye.
well, my editor understands my anxiety and like
Yeah.
works very well with me. Because I anxiously overthink. And she understands that when I'm like, hey, how are we doing? I'm not like trying to like breathe down her neck or anything.
Yeah.
She understands that I'm sitting there like, oh my God, she thinks I'm horrible. She thinks it's trash. Oh my God, she's going to like not want to work with me ever again. And, you know,
Yeah.
she's like, it's great. I just opened it up. I really liked this sentence here. You put a comma in the right place. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that. See, that's an editor relationship I would love to have, but I think with the number of books that I find myself continuing, because I was supposed to slow down this year too. That was the other thing. I was supposed to slow down this year, and I was supposed to not have a publishing schedule. Failed. Yeah, too. Failed. I think like with my lack of chill and also writing across so many different genres, like I haven't found one person that I am wholeheartedly like love to do everything, and that's a relationship I would like to find. But if I don't find it, I don't find it. It's whatever. I try to do as much of the editing myself, especially because I know I send things very last minute. I do everything last minute, like if I'm totally honest, but you know,
And
just
that's all right. Like I said, yeah, it took me. I know I drove my first editor insane because I was like constantly bothering her, and she was just like, "You need to calm down." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I just it's been a minute since I heard from you, and I don't." And she was just like, "You need to chill." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm just there's not a lot of communication."
yeah,
And I ended up dropping her. But yeah, this new editor I found, I was like, hey, I need some communication. I don't like, how my editor just kind of left me hanging. And she'd message me. She's like, hey, I'm going to start work today. I don't hate you. I'm like, oh, good, thanks.
I love that.
So it seems like, you're really good at the writing. You get great ideas and you just roll with it and stuff. Do you ever get writer's block? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Um, I wouldn't say I get like writer's block, but sometimes, especially because these characters write their own books, and I find this more so with not the first book, but like the next book in a series. They like to write their own books. They like to do their own thing. They want to do whatever they want to do. And sometimes I just feel like I'm like, I don't know where this is going or like even where I want to take it. And so generally, night Vanessa, I know it's past your bedtime. Generally I will just step away from it and work on something else. And even if that just means for the rest of the night, I'm just doing like admin stuff. Um, or I'm making posts or something like that. And then I will try to come back to it the next day. I'm a firm believer if the words aren't wording, if it's not happening, don't do it. I don't have the time to write crap. I don't have the time to edit crap. Um, I don't have that kind of time in my life to do that, especially when I do so much on my own. I have no assistant. I have no one helping me to do any of the things, except for my cover designers and obviously my last minute editors. But um, so for me, I'm just like, if it's not hitting, I just walk away that day and I try to come back tomorrow. If it's still not hitting tomorrow, I'll walk away that day, work on something else, and well, it just is what it is, because when it does hit, those words are just going to free flow out. And so that's just kind of like how I operate in general.
Lainey would like to know, what kind of books do you write?
What kind of books don't I write? That's a shorter list. No, just kidding. I write romance mixed with all different genres. So kind of whatever genre I felt like writing that day or whatever genre the characters want to take us into. Um, I write both on the non-contemporary side, so fantasy, dystopian, paranormal, and then also on the contemporary side. And I have several wide chooses.
I just picked up a few of her books today, Lainey. I got her Academia and her billionaire one too.
Yep.
Her billionaire romance.
I'm trying to find them in the stack.
Apparently,
So
she
this
is like
one,
the queen of cliffhangers.
taking my bow.
All right. So, what do you do for your mental health and to recharge your creativity?
Music's like always been my thing. And that's probably because I grew up a dancer, so obviously there's music everywhere. But music is always a really good reset. I have my go-to shows that I love. So I'm a huge Scream fan. My sister and I are. We will watch like a whole Scream marathon. We love Riverdale,
My daughter was into that
Bridgerton.
show.
Um,
I like Bridgerton.
Almost any medical show will normally take me out of something. True crime documentaries are,
Yes.
especially if they're about SKs. I am bound to go
Yes.
somewhere. Although right now my current fascination, like hyperfixation, is the mob. So there's a series that used to come on called Mobsters, and I've listened to that docu series. There's like 4 or 5 seasons of it. I've listened to it over and over again. But it just that's kind of a good reset. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into working out regularly. That was always a really good reset for me too. But yeah.
I recently got into, like, I've always liked like anime, like I watch it with my kids and stuff. But I
Mhm.
recently watched Delicious in Dungeon, and I loved it so much. So like now I'm like scouring Crunchyroll and everything for all of the cooking animes.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And my daughter's like, well, now that you like those, do you want to watch like the volleyball one with me? I'm like, no, go away.
No thanks.
Now she's like, you'll find one, and then you'll want to just watch all the sports ones. I just gotta wait. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. This one's my hyper focus. Leave me alone.
And that's I'm like, I hyperfixate on things so frequently. And sometimes it's super short lived, and then other times it like feels like it never ends.
Yeah, like
But that's fine.
yes, it's like it's either it's only for a week, and then sometimes I make it my whole personality.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. Like when I found my cowboy era, I was like, oh, this probably isn't gonna last. Oh no, it's lasted. It's like I have become one with
yeah,
wanting to live on a ranch with Wrangler man building fences and feeding cows and stuff.
that's how I felt when I learned how to crochet, and now 30 years later, I'm still making blankets and things. Like,
Yep.
are there any authors who have inspired you?
Um, so I'll say Nora Roberts because that's how like Roberts Row started. We were looking at her work ethic, and that's kind of where the name spiraled from. She works 8 hours a day, every day. Doesn't matter if she's on vacation or sick, whatever. That's her. That's just like her work ethic. But I would say that I've been probably heavily influenced by Stephen King. He can be quite wordy, and as you can see, some of my books are a little bit thick. Um, there's lots of words in them, but um, I would say like in terms of personality and just being a person, like Bridget Kemmerer is a great one. She is like the things that she'll post on social media that are very real and like encouraging, I think are great for a lot of, especially indie authors and early authors to read. So I really love her. And she was so awesome when I met her. I was freaking out. I was being super weird. And she was so nice. And she didn't ask why one of my books was Stained with Coffee. Thank goodness.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, like, I was totally weird when I met Rebecca Kenny. I forgot to breathe. Yeah, I also like yelled. It was super awkward.
It's all good. It's all good.
Do you have any advice for unpublished authors or people who hope to become authors?
Write the damn book.
It's good advice.
Someday it'll be someone's favorite book. Someday you'll be someone's favorite author. So just write the book. And I'm a firm believer in not writing what everyone else is writing because you feel like you have to. Write what you want to write. If it fits in the market, great. If it doesn't, find your niche of people that it does fit with. Which still working on that, but you know, just write it. Who cares?
That's the great thing about being an indie, right? You can write whatever the fuck you want.
Yep, within reason, because there are some things that some people should not be writing.
That is fair. That is 100% true.
There are some things that should stay inside thoughts and not go onto the page.
That is true. I let me amend. Right? You can does not mean you should. All right. So once again, I am reminding you about our schmiv that we are doing for Nightlife. It is a physical copy. If you would like to enter the schmiv, put boxing gloves down in the comments. This is US only.
And that is, sorry, I was trying to text at the same time.
Yep.
There's just two different covers. These aren't two different books. So whoever wins it, you can pick whichever cover you want to. If you like Sweat, that you might just like want to lick off his body, that's fine. Or if you like him in a suit, that's fine too.
It's a billionaire romance, and he's also a cage fighter.
And then just so you know what you're getting in book two, cover wise, okay? We've got a nice back view. His buns are very nice. And then we've got some nice abs on this one. So just in case that, helps sway you in one direction or the other.
All right. So now we are going to go ahead and get into some fun questions.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, but first up, before we get into fun questions, I need to ask, and this is probably the most important question you've ever been asked in your life, okay? What's your favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptor.
Yes! It's the best dinosaur.
Yep. Love it.
The best.
They're vicious, they're quick.
They can open doors.
Yep. The T-Rex arms like creep me out.
Right? They're little.
I'm like,
right. All like everyone's always like, like the Triceratops or the T-Rex, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, but Velociraptors are.
No, Velociraptor, like they're my favorite in the Jurassic Park movies. Love the Velociraptors.
Yeah, they are. All right. We have a lot, so let me go through these. All right. Yeah. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Birthday cake.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Is that a real dinosaur?
It is.
Oh. I need to look. I want to see what that looks like. What does that look like?
So, as a child, what did you think would be awesome about being an adult, but isn't as awesome as you thought it would be?
Just being an adult in general. And getting to do. Why is everyone and their mom calling me? Stop it.
Because you're busy.
And getting to do whatever I wanted, which, I mean, that part, great. But I think, like, especially for people who are so close with their parents, I think that you don't really realize that you get to do whatever you want to do, because they're still going to call and check on you. They're still going to need you to do something. Like, my sister is 10 years younger than me, and like, I'm like, where are you? I don't recognize this address on your GPS. And I'm sure she thought, being 27, no one's going to be clocking me, but I am. So I think it's like those little things that you thought were going to be like fun, just doing whatever. And it's like, it's 2:00. You haven't come home yet. Are you? Why are you still awake wondering? And it's out of like love and care. Like, it's not a bad thing, but I never thought bills were going to be great. So that's not even an answer.
Yeah, I know, and it's funny too, because like my kids are just like, my oldest is 19, and it was so funny because all I heard when they, a few years, I can't wait till I'm 18 and I'm gonna be gone, and I'm gonna be an adult and blah blah blah, and she's 19, and I'm like, so thought you were gonna be gone? When you going?
Yep.
I don't know.
And I think it's so funny because we've all said that, right? I'm 37. So my dad passed last year, and
I'm sorry.
After it's okay. It's okay. Well, it's not, but like, we're going to make it okay. Cause I'm not going to cry on live. That's not cute. But the whole point of that was, like, I thought I was so independent and I knew how to do things. Like, yeah, there were things that I had him do for me. He always took my car to the shop. Like, if I had a question about something, he was always the person I called. But I thought I knew how to do a lot of things on my own. And I didn't realize how much, like, he still did for me. And I'm like in my late 30s. All the things that he still did for me and that I had to figure out once he was gone. And I'm like, and you think, like, when you're younger, I'm not going to need anybody but me. But
please, I still call my mom. Like, my my second daughter, she's talking about moving out at the end of summer. And I was telling my mom, I'm just like, she was like, "Oh, you're gonna cry. You're gonna miss her." I'm like, "She'll be back to do laundry. It'll be fine."
Yep.
And she was like, "You're gonna cry." I said, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be like, my baby's home to do laundry. You want to stay for dinner?"
Yep. At one point, I lived like 10 minutes from my parents' house, like right up the street. And I would go to their house to grocery shop. I would just like show up and I'm like, I needed a couple of things. So I'm just going to take it out of your cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And mom will have made dinner or whatever, take some leftovers home with me,
Yep.
go right back on over to my house.
Mm-hmm. I'm already expecting it. I already know she'll be home to do laundry, and I'll make her some food, send her home with some groceries. I already plan on it. All right. What would you use to survive the zombie apocalypse?
Um, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on live. I'm just going to say it. A machete. Hopefully I
That's a
don't.
good answer.
Yeah.
I don't plan on surviving.
I would totally survive. I think. I think I would make it. Um, yeah. I think I could make it.
I can't walk very fast. I would just be like, babe, you make it. I'll sacrifice myself so you can get away.
See, we'll just set you up with like the machine pew pew and like with like a gate in front of you and you just sit there and just
Okay. I mean, I don't mind being the first line, taking out as many as I can.
yeah, I mean we'll put a fence in between you and them. So like they still have to work to get to you if they get that far.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I don't see me lasting very long.
We'll protect you. It's okay.
Thanks. Most people are like, thanks for your sacrifice. You're at least like, we'll try.
No, no friends left behind. Not about that life.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, everybody, we're almost done. So we got one more chance to get entered for our schmiv. So if you're still here hanging out, drop the boxing glove down in the comments for your chance to get a copy of Nightlife. This will be our last chance to get entered. Throw some boxing gloves down there. I say Bird's the only one throwing them down.
I guess I could just hold these up. Figure people are probably tired of seeing
Like to
Oh,
like to wait a little second just in case.
they smell different. Oh, interesting. That was weird. Sorry.
You're good.
One's from Ingram and one's from KDP.
Yeah, no, I know they use different paper and stuff.
Yeah. This is the one for you then. Well, I hope it's the one for you. I hope you like it.
It would be. All right, so before we go, can you tell us where we can find you online?
All the places. So if you go to the chain tree, where all that stuff lives, my link tree, I can't come up with these weird words. It has links to everywhere. So I'm on pretty much all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I do have a reading group on Facebook as well, or a book group, whatever they're called. Blue Sky, Lemon 8, YouTube. I feel like I'm missing one. If you like Snapchat, I post there too, just because why not? My website is my first and last name, so BrittonBrinkley.com. There's tons of different stuff up there. You can order signed copies there. I'll have news updates. You can see my signing schedule, which is absurd. We even have a Roberts Row page. So there's lots of stuff there. Yeah. Everywhere.
Well, that leads up to our next question. Do you have any planned events coming up?
I have a lot of planned events.
Give us the highlights then.
I have two this month. I will be down in Richmond next weekend at Book Fair, and then at the end of the month I will be at Dreaming Dirty in Maryland up in Baltimore, Maryland. And then some of the ones that we all know and love. I'll be at Shadows and Stardust. I'll be at Booked in Chaos, Books and Bourbon, Sinful. There's other ones in there too. I don't remember them all right now. Oh, Books, Gowns, and Crowns. That's another one that a lot of people know. Yeah, we'll be everywhere. Go to the website. It's all there.
Was there anything else you wanted us to know? Anything like important coming up?
I'll do one more shameless plug for Ride Me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ride Me, this is my next release. Spicy small town cowboy romance. Comes out on May 9th. The other book that is also releasing in this series on May 9th from Ashley Willow is Buck Me. We both have our ARC signups open. We both have pre-orders up. So, oh yes, I'll see you soon. So make sure you hop on this if cowboy romance is your thing.
And she has the ARC signups in your Schmink and Schmile, right?
Yep. Everything is there. Everything you would ever need to find. And if you can't find it, just DM me or whatever, anywhere, and I will respond. But that's it. This has been so fun.
I'm glad you had fun. All right, then time for the schmiv then. Okay, I know there's a way to do this. Ah, yes. Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's a cool wheel.
Thank you. All right. Spinning. Tink. Is Tink still in here?
I don't know. Tink, are you still here? Ah, there she is.
Tink's in here.
Go, Tink.
All right. Britton, did you want to get with her then afterwards?
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
I'll text her. We're friends.
Oh, okay, wonderful. That makes it easier. I feel a little bit uncomfortable being the middle person, sharing addresses and stuff,
She texted me yesterday. It's fine.
Oh,
we got this.
Okay, then it works that you actually know Tink. Okay. So, I'm Evie, and this has been Friday Night Writes. Our special guest today was Britton Brinkley. If you haven't already, make sure that you follow her, check out her Schmink and her Smile, follow her on all the platforms. TikTok was saved again, but of course it could go away at any time, so make sure you're following her everywhere. Check out her website. I'm not saying don't buy her books on Scamazon, but she would probably appreciate it more if you bought directly from her. Our next week we are going to be sitting down with Evan Michaels, author of the Beta trilogy, who is amazing. She's also one of the event coordinators for Sinful Signings, which both of us are going to be attending, which yay.
Can't wait.
Also, on April 15th, the pre-orders begin for our charity anthology, See Me As I Am, with our proceeds going to NAMI, the National Alliance on I can never get this right. I always want to say on mental health, but it's mental illness. Sorry. It's getting late.
Right.
Yes. Anyway, if you would like to be on the show, the interest form is in the Schmink and our Schmios. And you are also all welcome to join our Discord, which I'm not saying it again. I hope you enjoyed the being on the show, and I hope everyone in the comments enjoyed as well.
It was an absolute blast. And I'm just glad I finally got to actually like talk to you for a while, because every time we've seen each other has been at a signing and we weren't even near each other.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we've always kind of been far apart, and just being an introvert, like there's so many people, and
it's
like
so overwhelming.
it's
So
overwhelming, and by the end of the day I'm just like, hi, bye.
yep.
And I feel so rude, but like I'm done, you
No,
know.
same. Because a lot of times, so especially like when the row's together, we like text our plan on what time to meet, like back down in the lobby to go to dinner, and then disappear on our own before anybody else can stop us. So we get it. Like those are exhausting days. So I'm just glad I actually got to spend this time with you, like specifically because we haven't had a lot of time to talk, and I've seen you what, like 3 4 times in the past year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, and Tink, like, don't ever be nervous. Like, I promise you, I am just as nervous to meet you guys. I get super awkward. And I promise you, I'm just as nervous as you guys. I'm so nervous. I'm gonna say the wrong thing, or I'm gonna like drive you away. And so, like, I'm sitting there just like, find my book. You know, it's so. I mean, at any point, if you're just like, "Hi, Evie," I'm just like, "Hi, person."
It's all of us. We are all in the same boat.
Yeah, but I mean, you could come up and ask me for a hug. Just be gentle with me. I break easy. You know, just whatever y'all want. I'm nice. I mean, look, if you wear that shirt, I'll know it's you. So, but
We all have
yeah,
that shirt.
I'm gonna get going because it's my bedtime now.
Yes.
So, have a good night, everybody, and thanks
Thank
for hanging
you.
out with me.
Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.